Today we will talk about XRP and XLM and more ties into BRICS, concentrating on Russia, who is one of the countries that is currently transacting in currencies not including the US dollar. And they are also involved with Iran, cooperating on CBDCs and tokenized assets, as called out in an article from May 9th of 2024, which talks about it calls out Iran's trade attaché at the embassy in Moscow confirmed that the two countries are working on a CBDC as Russia works on a framework about digital financial assets, which I will talk about here in a bit. And I'm not trying to say that either of these two countries or their regimes or their governments are all that positive. I'm just explaining the involvement of crypto infrastructure. A CBDC could be live as early as January 2025, as Russian central banks have yet to finalize things. It's also calling out Brazil's BRICS, Russia's faster payment systems, and India's UPI, which BRICS and UPI all have ties back into Ripple and XRP. In mid-May of 2024, Russia enacted a law that allows the use of digital financial assets in foreign trade payments, which includes tokenized assets and financial instruments issued through central bank regulated institutions. And here is the article on that, and it specifically calls out tokenizing precious right here at the start. So far, it involves over 350 instruments, including bonds, finance, and others. And if we go to the article here, which is from February of 2024, it talks about real-world asset tokenization. In 2023, they had tokenized 350 instruments with an outstanding balance of around 651 million USD. It is also talking about SMEs, which are most likely to issue DFA tokens, which is a concept I have talked about often in regards to XDC and trade finance. And tokenizing those kinds of assets helps people and entities who traditionally have not had access into investing in those kinds of assets and industries because of regulatory issues, including credit and insurance. Here we are talking about Russian regulation of cryptocurrency and digital financial assets more. And it's interesting because it actually concentrates on a cryptocurrency ban over there. The act contains a number of restrictive conditions banning almost all possibilities to use cryptocurrency. One of the reasons for such restrictive takes might be the government's intention to make financial transactions transparent, which is all about regulation and regulatory clarity. And it talks about the BICE principle, which I will come back to here in a little bit. It was decided to take all digital payments under government control, which is obviously not all that helpful for individuals. However, it is pretty clearly illustrating how the financial infrastructure itself is transitioning over to blockchain and crypto. Here is a report that analyzes Russia's progress in addressing technical compliance deficiencies called out in 2019, concentrating on AML and CFT, which is a huge step in terms of institutional adoption of crypto infrastructure. And it covers developments from October of 2019 to July of 2023. And here is the report. And I'm not exactly wanting to get into it because it's a lot of information and it's not exactly easy to understand. The point I'm trying to call out here is that we do know that Russia has ties into Ripple and XRP, which I will talk about after this. And with Ripple's ties into SBI, who are working with Elliptic, that connects right into Stellar again. So in April of 2020, had an exclusive partnership start with Elliptic, who is all about crypto asset risk management in enterprise and institutions. They have monitoring, compliance, and analysis software, which now incorporates XLM, which is one of the things that makes it seem that Stellar could become the de facto chain to record transactions in terms of compliance. Now here's a bit more on Russia and XRP, and it is a article from 2020, I think, that is talking about foreign and Russian experience of blockchain digitization with central banks, financial, and technology companies. And if you search for Ripple, it is called out 8 times. And it also talks about the popularity of Corda, Quorum, and Hyperledger, which ties into XRP and XLM. In 2018, the Bank of Russia's Innovation Laboratory conducted research on testing the possibility of cross-border transactions using the Ripple platform. Based on the results, it was concluded that the Ripple platform can be considered in cross-border transactions, and it calls out XRP and a couple of points here to tie it into BRICS and a possible currency tied to commodities and even gold. A draft law proposes allowing stablecoins pegged to assets like gold or fiat currency in foreign trade transactions. And here is the article itself. And it is talking about secured stablecoins that ties into the digital financial assets law that I talked about earlier. Secured stablecoins are defined as digital assets that tend to maintain a stable value by being pegged to the gold exchange rate. And it clarifies that stablecoins may maintain a stable value not only by being pegged to gold, but to other assets, including fiat currency, precious metals, and possibly other commodities that are prevalent in the economies of BRICS countries, such as oil and natural gas. And I won't talk about it a ton here, as it is a pretty extensive topic on its own, but a hypothesized talks about how gold can be pegged to XRP. And it is not put out by any official institution, but it does explain how it could potentially work.